Have you ever dreamed of visiting Portugal? Maybe you've seen the beautiful photos of colorful streets, historic castles, golden beaches, and delicious food. Maybe you've heard people call Portugal one of the best countries in Europe. But here is the question. Is Portugal still worth visiting in 2026? Because if you search online, you will find two completely different stories. One group says Portugal is a paradise. Another group says Portugal has become too expensive, too crowded, and no longer worth the trip. So what is the truth? As someone who has been living in Portugal since 2019 and has traveled around the country many times, today I want to share the reality of Portugal in 2026. Not the Instagram version, not the travel brochure version, the real version. Let's begin. The first thing that surprises most visitors is how beautiful Portugal actually is. Even after living here for several years, there are still places that amaze me. You have the colorful streets of Lisbon, the fairy tale palaces of Sintra, the dramatic cliffs of Cabo da Roca, the westernmost point of mainland Europe, the charming coastal town of Cascais, the giant waves of Nazaré, the vineyards of the Douro Valley, and the golden beaches of the Algarve. What makes Portugal special is that many of these places are only a short drive from each other. In just 1 week, you can experience history, culture, beaches, mountains, and incredible food. This is one reason why millions of tourists continue to visit Portugal every year. But let's talk about something many travel videos do not mention. Portugal has become more expensive. A few years ago, Portugal was known as one of the cheapest countries in Western Europe. Today, things have changed. Hotels cost more, restaurants cost more, transportation costs more. And if you visit during peak season, especially in July and August, prices can be surprisingly high. That does not mean Portugal is expensive compared to countries like Switzerland, Norway, or Denmark. But it is definitely not the hidden budget destination that it once was. My advice is simple. Visit during the shoulder seasons. April, May, September, and October are often the best months. The weather is still beautiful, but prices are lower and there are fewer crowds. So, speaking of crowds, this is just another reality of Portugal in 2026. Some of the most famous attractions can honestly become extremely crowded. Sintra is the perfect example. Many tourists, arrive late in the morning and then end up spending hours just waiting in lines. By the time they reach Pina Palace, they're already exhausted. The truth is, planning makes a huge difference. Visitors who start early enjoy a completely different experience compared to those who arrive during peak hours. And, well, the same is true in Lisbon. Popular areas like Alfama, Baixa, and Belém can get very busy during the summer. But if you explore early in the day, or maybe visit less touristy neighborhoods, you'll discover probably a different side of the city. Now, let's talk about safety. One of the biggest reasons people love Portugal is because it remains one of the safest countries in Europe. Of course, like any major tourist destination, you should always be careful with your belongings. Pickpockets can operate in crowded areas and on public transportation. But overall, most visitors feel comfortable walking around Portugal even at night. For solo travelers, families, and first-time visitors to Europe, this is a huge advantage. Another reason many people fall in love with Portugal is the food. Portuguese cuisine may not receive as much attention as Italian or French food, but it deserves far more recognition. Fresh seafood, grilled fish, traditional pastries, local cheeses, and of course the famous pastel de nata. One of my favorite things about traveling around Portugal is discovering small local restaurants that most tourists never find. Sometimes the best meal is not in a famous restaurant. It is in a small family-owned place, hidden in a quiet street. Now let's discuss transportation. Portugal is relatively easy to explore. Trains connect major cities like Lisbon and Porto. Buses reach many towns throughout the country. But if you truly want flexibility, especially when visiting places like Sintra, Cascais, Cabo da Roca, Nazaré, or the Algarve, having a private vehicle can save a lot of time. Many visitors underestimate how much time they spend waiting for connections, changing buses, or trying to navigate unfamiliar routes. This is one reason why private day trips have become increasingly popular among tourists who want to maximize their vacation time. Now for the big question. Is Portugal overrated? In my opinion, no. But it is no longer a secret destination. Portugal today is more popular than ever. That popularity brings both advantages and disadvantages. There are more services, more international visitors, more restaurants, more activities. But there are also more crowds and higher prices. The key is having realistic expectations. If you expect an empty paradise with no tourists, you may be disappointed. If you expect a beautiful country filled with history, culture, stunning landscapes, friendly people, and unforgettable experiences, then Portugal will probably exceed your expectations. After living here since 2019, I still find new places to explore. I still discover hidden viewpoints. I still enjoy watching the sunset along the coast. And I still recommend Portugal to friends who want to visit Europe. So is Portugal still worth visiting in 2026? Absolutely. But the best experiences belong to travelers who plan wisely, avoid common mistakes, and explore beyond the typical tourist route. If Portugal is on your travel list, let me know in the comments what place you would like to visit most. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to Far and Beyond for more travel guides, hidden gems, and real travel experiences from Portugal and across Europe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next journey.